Of the Valhalla School Board. My name is Judith Beville. I am a former school board member, 2003 to roughly 2010. Between 6 and 7 years, I served on the board. And I served on the board because of Laverne McBride Clark. She had served on the board several years before me, and then asked me would I serve, and I did for several years, and then she came back to the board. During my tenure, I was fortunate enough to have participated in a superintendent search, principal search, assistant principal search, and several faculty and staff appointments. During that time, one of the replacements, it was an assistant principal replacement, that has really resounded in my whole heartbeat with respect to the need for diversity was we were members of the town board and several staff members, and we were all sitting, I think we were in this room, and candidates, no, it was whatever. Candidates came forward, and one of the candidates was an African-American woman with a PhD and several years of experience in teaching and administration. And she came dressed very appropriately in business attire. And after the interview, one of the members of the interview team said, "I don't like her because she doesn't look like she will get down on the ground with the kids." I thought about that because there was no criteria that school board members had agreed on that required that the candidates and hence the assistant principal be required to get down on the ground with the kids. But what that really said to me was that that person was not able to filter through his lens the fact that an African-American woman, or candidate, period, with a PhD, highly qualified, overqualified, based on the qualifications that we agreed to, would not be appropriate to be an administrator in this district because she didn't appear to him as if she could get down on the ground with the kids. So I say that to talk to the importance of having diversity on this school board, and particularly an African-American representative. Valhalla Union Free School District is uniquely comprised of communities representing three municipalities, and therefore a culturally diverse district. Over the past 15 years, the district has become even more diverse. We know that there is a significant percentage of African American, African Caribbean, Asian, Latino, Hispanic students in this district, more than there were when I was a school board member. For over 50 years, the communities that comprise the district have recognized this fact and have supported as well as respected representation on the school board by a Parkway Homes resident, acknowledging what has come to be known as the Gentleman's Agreement. Since the 1950s, Parkway Homes has represented the largest African-American community in this school district. Current demographics represent a growing cultural mosaic, including residents of Latin and European origins, as well as Asian. We are all neighbors, and we recognize the importance of diversity on our school board. For this reason, we are hoping that the district and current board members will support the long-standing Gentleman's Agreement established decades ago for a seat on the board to be occupied by a resident of Parkway Homes who could bring diversity to the board. Andre Early, lifelong resident of Parkway Homes, Valhalla High School graduate is Delaware State?
Hampton.
Hampton, one of the top African American colleges, not only in the country, but in the world. Former Commissioner, Deputy Department of Community Resources, Town of Greenburgh, and currently Deputy Commissioner, Westchester County Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, is highly recommended to fill the seat on the Valhalla School Board, once held by Laverne Clark. He demonstrates and embraces many of the qualities of leadership and devotion to youth exhibited by Laverne. Andre, devoted to initiatives that help prepare young people for taking on roles of responsibility and leadership in their adult years, has a demonstrated and proven record of organizational leadership and management with a focus on empowering young people to experience success in their endeavors. Members of the Parkway Homes community, and no doubt residents of communities throughout the Valhalla School District, would consider Mr. Early an ideal school board member. As an elected official myself, among local, county, and state government officials, diversity is considered critically important in helping to bridge barriers to understanding, respect, and inclusion. Across this country, right now as we speak, 81% of school boards, 81%, yes.
We have 5 minutes,
I'm sorry,
okay?
of school boards lack
I
diversity.
respectfully ask if
Thank
we
you.
maintain the 5 minutes.
I will stop.
Thank you.
There are some points that are very important to be made. Thank you.
Take my mask off.
No, we don't. Like I said, could we all please keep our comments within 5 minutes?
Of course.
Thank you.
Cynthia Henson, Cynthia Price Henson, mother of Kwame, Binta, Achille, and Nika, all very successful students who went to Valhalla. Been here since 1978. And I just want to say that I am disappointed. Thank you, Mr. Baker, for being here. But I am disappointed in the way that you filled this seat temporarily. Looking at you all, we are now not represented for the next 2 months. And African Americans make up a very good portion of taxpayers who own homes in the Valhalla School District. So I want you to know we are not happy with the way you handled that. However, it is a temporary position. It is for 8 weeks, and I do understand he has completed training that will allow him to participate fully on the board for these next 8 weeks. I also would like you to remind you, and I think I was made aware that this board did not know about the over 50-year-old agreement that Parkway Homes should be represented on the board. So now you are aware of it, and I would like you to make sure in the future that you consider us. We are important. We are different. We have to train our children differently than Caucasian families have to train theirs. We have to raise our sons to be so very careful in the presence of law enforcement officials. We have to have those conversations that you will never have to have with your children from 8, 9, 10 years old. So these things all impact our lives. The school board needs to know those things. If we are not represented by a black African-American person on the school board, you won't know those things. And you will make decisions that might negatively impact our community. So it is very important that you recognize we are here. We intend to stay here. We will be present at school board meetings, and our opinion is valuable and important, and we love all children. We believe in the success of this district. We are available. We love the fact that Noel Clark and Andre Early are going to, well, we have agreed that Andre will run and Noel will run after that. We don't want you to be confused. We do stick together. And most importantly, we want you to know we are a cooperative group of people. We love this district and we love these children. We really are Laverne Clark's children. Let's call it that way. We all know how excellent she was. And we want you all to feel comfortable speaking to us about issues that you might have. We are very approachable, and we want to make sure you understand we must be represented, and we will do everything that's necessary to be sure we are represented in this district. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bridget Brown. I have two daughters who came out of Valhalla, Jalen and Jade Brown, and they came here. My daughter came here in high school, and my younger one in middle school. And I have had many battles with Valhalla about sports. There was no swim team, and I fought very hard for there to be where's the athletic director? Oh, Mr. Block, you know me, right? I have not been present. My daughter I have an engineer that graduated at Cornell and a scientist, Jade. So I haven't been around because I relied a lot on Laverne. And she was the backbone that helped me for every time that I had an issue to fight for my daughters. And I'm sure you guys all know my daughter was an excellent mathematician who had scored very high. They wouldn't put her in honors. So I fought this district for academics, for sports, and so many other things. And if it was not for Laverne to help me navigate through this, we need representation. It's not about black and white, but it is. So I want you to hear us, how important it is. We didn't come out because we know Laverne had our back. And shame on us. But we are here. We're here to stay. I will make noise. Not only in the district, but I will make noise. We're coming here to fight for all children, but our children in education need a special person for them. It really should not be about black and white, but our children need us. And so that's why we're here, to let you know that we will protect them, we support them, but we also support you all. So I thank you, and I'm going to leave it. I don't know who will go next to speak for us.
So I may not be familiar to this board, but I was familiar for many years. My name is Grace Stone. I served on the board. I live in Valhalla. Hi, Judith.
We have maybe 12 minutes left for public comment, okay?
I'm going to keep it to like 2, promise.
Because we only have half an hour
it's okay.
for public comment.
I served for 8 years on the board through my kids and everything else. I'm going to get emotional because I miss Laverne. I actually came last month to the meeting because I had a granddaughter giving a presentation, and I had the honor of walking in and walking out with Laverne over that last board meeting of hers. We served collectively together for a few years, and then Judith came on, and then she took a break, and then she came back. So I served my beginning and my end with Laverne Clark, and it was an honor to do so. But I can tell you what you guys did tonight, naming a person that was on the board in the past, was really a mandatory person. You needed someone that's already proved that can start their motions and do what they have to do, hit the ground running tonight, because that's what you need. You have a budget to pass and people to replace on your school board. What I'm here to say is to the community, it is your fault if this gentleman's agreement is not enforced any longer. It already is not enforced. There is no longer a person on this school board that is represented from 2 communities. You have Mayfair Acres and North White Plains. That was always our gentleman's agreement. There was a North White Plains seat. There were There was a Mayfair Acres, a Parkway Homes, and the rest was Mount Pleasant. You are already breaking the gentleman's agreement. I didn't know that because you know what? My kids graduated. I have a grandson graduating this year, and I was not participating. I will be. North White Plains needs a representation as well as Parkway Homes. It's a shame that there is no longer someone from that. I grew up I'm a North Whiter. I mean, you know, we were looked down upon as much as Mayfair sometimes because, you know, we lived in the hill. My kids graduated from here. I was at Valhalla. They were Valhalla Park kids. They all have great careers. They had great educations here. I know that's what's going to continue to go on in Valhalla because it has to continue to go on. But we have to be here to support our children as well as our school board. But the community has to come out and vote and participate. The amount of people when I was on the board that used to come out and vote was atrocious. You didn't even get one parent for every child to come out and vote. It was sinful. It is sinful. It has been sinful. The people you want to complain, be part of the solution. Right. That's the end. Thank you.
Good evening, board. My name is Noelle Clark. I'm Laverne Clark's daughter. I am a Valhalla graduate. Holy name, kindergarten, first in Valhalla. My daughter Peyton is also in Valhalla as well. I'm ashamed to say I only came to a few school board meetings because my mother made me, but now I see that it is, I see that it's mandatory that I continue on the fight, even if I'm not running for the seat. And I've come to say I am disappointed that as soon as my mother died, that people from Valhalla went to go pick up petitions for her seat. Laverne Clark's seat is a Parkway Homes seat. It has been held by someone from Parkway Homes since its inception. Henry LeJohn has sat in that seat. Bob Watson has sat in that seat. Laverne Clark has sat in that seat, Judy Beville, and then Laverne Clark again. And maybe it's because people in the community now don't know the history and have come in and are trying to make it something it's not. But we stand on something, and that's representing all kids. Not just the kids in sports, not just the kids in the drama club, but all kids. The kids that don't have representation. And my mother was there for those kids. This is not about an agenda for a certain type of child. This is for all kids to be heard and to get the right education. And if people come on the board for their own agenda without understanding the history of Valhalla, we have a problem. We have a huge problem. And it's disrespectful. In order to serve on a board, you need to understand the history of the board and the district. And people don't. This is not Westlake. This is not Scarsdale. This is Valhalla. It has 3 different towns, and it has a lot of different cultures. And it can't look all white. I'm sorry to say that, because the district is 44% minority. 44%. Large Hispanic population. Nobody, if everyone's white, where do those parents go to speak about problems that maybe those board members would not understand? It's not personal, but there needs to be representation for all kids, not just the ones that play football or Little League. And so I'm speaking to the public and to board members, but if you know that people don't know what the gentleman's agreement is, it's up to us to educate them. Because if they don't know, they can't do better. But if they do know and then continue to do so, then that's a different story. So I'm going to have to continue her fight, and I have a really loud mouth just like her, and a temper just like her too. And I'm going to come out to these meetings, and I'm going to be involved because it's not fair for those kids that fall through the cracks. And that's what's going to happen if it's not represented of the population. Thank you.
My name is Wendell Orr. I'm a graduate of Valhalla High School. And I think it has been, something was said here this evening that kind of annoys me. It's not a gentleman's agreement. It's an agreement with the community and each and every member of that community. And that community was represented by a woman of such magnitude. of such poise, of such discipline, toughness, and in some cases a royal pain in the ass. But nevertheless, it was not a gentleman who stood before every parent, who stood before this board, and those who have said things that were not appropriate and still fought and looked in the face of every parent and said, "You have a shot." It is a community. It is Parkway Homes. And that agreement was carried with honor, with discipline by Laverne Clark for the years that she served. Men do not deserve that honor. A community does. No individual, not a single party, but a community. So everyone keep doing what you're doing. Know that we're watching. We are listening. And we are present, current and relevant in our thoughts and our actions. But don't ever call it a gentleman's agreement again.
Okay. Be it resolved that upon